Vampires, creatures of the night that have haunted human imagination for centuries, are deeply rooted in folklore and legend around the world. These undead beings, often portrayed as both alluring and terrifying, have become iconic figures in popular culture, from literature to film and beyond. With their origins shrouded in mystery and their characteristics varying widely across different cultures, vampires continue to captivate us with their blend of supernatural powers, immortality, and the eternal struggle between their predatory nature and remnants of their human past. Myth number 1: Vampires are immortal. Fact: in many vampire legends, vampires are indeed portrayed as immortal beings. However, the concept of immortality can vary. Some myths suggest that vampires are truly immortal and cannot be killed, while others portray them as living for an extended but finite lifespan. Myth number 2: vampires can turn into bats. Fact: the ability of vampires to transform into bats is a popular motif in vampire fiction, particularly in modern depictions. However, this ability is not universal in vampire folklore. In some legends, vampires can transform into bats, wolves, or mist, while in others, they have no such ability. Myth number 3: vampires can only be killed by a stake through the heart. Fact: staking is a well-known method of killing vampires in folklore, but it is not the only way. Other traditional methods include decapitation, exposure to sunlight, burning, or drowning. The exact method can vary depending on the cultural tradition. Myth number 4: vampires can only drink human blood. Fact: while vampires are often depicted as feeding exclusively on human blood, some legends suggest that they can also feed on the blood of animals. In some stories, vampires can survive on other fluids, such as milk, or even psychic energy. Myth number 5: vampires are harmed by garlic. Fact: the belief that garlic can repel vampires is a common myth, but its origins are unclear. In some traditions, garlic is used as a protective measure against vampires, while in others, it is believed to have no effect. Myth number 6: vampires are afraid of crosses. Fact: the use of religious symbols, such as crosses or holy water, to repel vampires is a common motif in vampire fiction. However, its presence in folklore varies. Some traditions suggest that these symbols have power over vampires, while others do not mention them at all. Myth number 7: vampires are pale and have fangs. Fact: the image of the pale, fanged vampire is a modern invention popularized by literature and film. In folklore, vampires are often described as looking like ordinary humans, although some legends mention physical characteristics that set them apart, such as red eyes or a lack of reflection. Myth number 8: vampires are undead. Fact: the concept of undeath in vampires can vary. In some traditions, vampires are considered to be reanimated corpses, while in others, they are believed to be a separate, supernatural species. In either case, vampires are often depicted as being in a state between life and death. Myth number 9: vampires must sleep in coffins. Fact: the idea that vampires sleep in coffins is a common trope in vampire fiction, but it is not universal. In some legends, vampires are said to rest in coffins during the day, while in others, they are able to sleep in regular beds or even in the ground. Myth number 10: vampires are seductive and charming. Fact: the idea of vampires as seductive and charming beings is a common theme in vampire fiction, often used to lure victims. However, this portrayal is not universal in folklore. In some traditions, vampires are depicted as monstrous and repulsive creatures, using their powers of seduction to disguise their true nature.